Have you heard about what Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen are up to now? It's wild. Both of them are seriously exploring the world of MotoGP, and it could change everything we thought we knew about their careers. This all started after Liberty Media, the company behind Formula One, completed the takeover of Dorna Sports, the rights holder for MotoGP. Suddenly, the door opened for the two champions to not just watch from the sidelines, but to actually invest and become part owners in the sport. Now, some fans are praising this move, pointing to the diversity in their portfolios, while others are wondering, are they already thinking about life after F1? The truth is, we can't ignore their passion for bikes. Lewis has always made it clear he loves MotoGP. Just look at how he showed up for the Monza GP. And he's already got experience as a partial owner of the NFL's Denver Broncos. That shows he's serious about investing in sports outside of racing. Max, on the other hand, has been deeply involved in the GT3 series through his F1-connected team, and even though his manager says buying a MotoGP team isn't an immediate goal, the interest is undeniable. This isn't just casual curiosity. We're talking about two of the biggest names in motorsport seriously eyeing a major business move. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think this is all about business, or is it an early step toward retirement? Type business or retire in the comments, and let's see what the community thinks. Also, if you love getting inside takes like this on F1 and MotoGP, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. We're pushing to reach 1,000 subscribers, and your support gets us there. Quick question for you. Would you like to see Hamilton actually owning a MotoGP team, yes or no? Let me know below, and stick around, because we're about to dive into who's backing these potential deals and what it all really means for the champions. So, let's talk money and backers, because this is where things get really interesting. On Hamilton's side, he's not just wandering into MotoGP blindly. He has the backing of TWWG Motorsports, the group that owns the new Cadillac F1 team set to debut in 2026. That kind of support gives him serious leverage if he wants to secure a team, because investing in motorsport isn't cheap, and having a solid financial partner can make or break a deal. Hamilton has actually tried this before, showing interest in Gresini Racing and KTM, but his offers were turned down. Now, with Cadillac in the mix, he has a much stronger position. On the other hand, Max Verstappen's approach is a bit different. His manager, Raymond Voyan, has been clear that while Max is a racing enthusiast and deeply involved in GT3 racing, buying a MotoGP team isn't realistic right now. Everything would have to align perfectly, and the chances are slim at this point. But the interest alone is noteworthy, and it's enough to get the MotoGP paddock talking. Add to this the fact that Liberty Media is now in control of the sport, and suddenly the stakes are higher. The same way they transformed Formula One in the US, they could do something similar with MotoGP, and Hamilton and Verstappen are smart enough to notice that. According to pundits like Sylvain Guiney, the sums being discussed are significant, potentially big enough to tempt even the most committed private teams to consider selling. This means the champions aren't just playing around, they're entering serious business territory. I want to know what you think about that. Are these moves solid investments, or are they risky gambles? Vote in the comments, and let's see what you think. And if you want more deep dives into who's funding what in motorsport, hit the like button so we know to keep bringing you these behind-the-scenes insights. Stick around, because next we'll explore which teams are actually on their radar and what that could mean for both Hamilton and Verstappen. Now, let's get into which teams are actually on Hamilton and Verstappen's radar, because this is where strategy meets opportunity. For Max, the talks so far have focused on independent private outfits like LCR. It makes sense. He's already deeply involved in GT3 racing, and a smaller team could be a manageable first step into ownership without overextending. Hamilton's approach is different, thanks to the Cadillac backing. This could allow him to aim for a team that fits neatly into a larger business model, combining his investments across motorsports and potentially maximizing returns. But it's not just about money. Culture and timing matter too. Some teams aren't ready to sell, and there's always a question of whether current owners will even consider offers. Take Tech 3 as an example. When Hervé Poncharal stepped away, the transition made headlines, but it wasn't simple. The reputation and direction of a team can make a huge difference, and that's something both drivers' managers are considering. Another factor is the upcoming 2027 regulation changes in MotoGP, which could shift the balance of power in the paddock. Teams that have been in the shadows for years might suddenly become more valuable, making them more appealing targets for investors like Hamilton and Verstappen. So, the question for you is simple. How would you feel if LCR or a similar team was owned by one of these F1 legends? Excited, worried, or indifferent? Drop one word in the comments. I want to see your take. And of course, if you're enjoying this inside look at where top drivers might be heading off the track, don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell. We're aiming for 1,000 subscribers, and your support keeps these deep dives coming. Coming up next, we'll break down why now might be the perfect time for both Hamilton and Verstappen to make these moves, thanks to regulation changes and growth opportunities in MotoGP. Timing is everything, and right now, the timing for Hamilton and Verstappen couldn't be better. MotoGP is about to go through major changes, and that creates opportunities for savvy investors. Starting in 2026, there's an engine freeze on the current 1,000cc bikes, and by 2027, the bikes will operate with new 850cc engines. On top of that, ride height devices will be banned, stricter aerodynamic controls introduced, and the sport will fully switch to sustainable fuels. These shifts aren't just technical, they can significantly change the competitive balance and even the market value of teams. Think about it. Teams that have been in the shadows might suddenly become much more valuable, and owning a piece of the action at the right time could be a game changer. Add Liberty Media's influence. Their takeover has already revolutionized F1 in the US, and now they're doing something similar with MotoGP, and it's clear why Hamilton and Verstappen are paying attention. The numbers involved are reportedly huge, and the strategic advantage of entering before these changes fully take effect is massive. It's not just passion, it's smart business. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think these regulation changes will level the playing field for teams or just make MotoGP more expensive and competitive? Write your opinion in the comments, and if you want a follow-up video explaining all the 2027 rule changes in detail, drop a comment saying, "Explain 2027, so we know to make it happen. Stay tuned, because next we'll wrap up with what all of this really means for Hamilton and Verstappen's careers and their potential future as team owners. So what does all of this mean for Hamilton and Verstappen? At the core, it's about diversifying their portfolios, exploring new business opportunities, and potentially shaping the future of another motorsport. While some might think this hints at the end of their racing careers, it's far more likely that they're simply looking for smart ways to invest their time and money outside of F1. If these ventures turn out profitable, it could even allow them to focus more on business rather than risking their lives behind the wheel every week. Hamilton already has experience in sports ownership with the NFL, and Verstappen is deeply involved in GT3 racing, so stepping into MotoGP isn't just a whim, it's a calculated move. There's also the factor of timing. With regulation changes coming in 2026 and 2027, and Liberty Media shaking up the sport, now is a moment of opportunity. Early movers often benefit the most, and both champions are clearly aware of that. Of course, success isn't guaranteed, and the teams themselves may resist offers, especially private outfits with strong traditions. But even the possibility of seeing names like Hamilton and Verstappen as team owners is enough to create buzz and set a precedent for other investors. Now I want to hear from you. Who do you think would make a better team owner, Lewis or Max? And would you still want to see them racing full-time? If they focused more on business? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video insightful, make sure to subscribe and enable notifications. We're aiming for 1,000 subscribers, and every subscription helps us keep delivering this kind of inside scoop. And once you've done that, check out the video that just popped up on your screen for even more breaking F1 and MotoGP news.